Okay, I'd like to open the microphone for public comment on agenda items only. These are items that are on tonight's agenda only. Please remember that we do only allow for 30 minutes of public comment. So we allow each individual 3 minutes so that the maximum amount of people get to tonight.
We do have sign-in sheet at the podium, so if you can sign in. Thank you.
She's a mom.
Is that mic working? Can you test? Okay.
Now it's green. How's that? Maybe that helps. Okay. I'm here to share my takeaway from last week's meeting. I don't come to a lot of board meetings, but I was able to last night because we did have any other things scheduled. And one thing that I noticed from my takeaway from last week's meeting was that there was this large group of employees in the district that feel very marginalized, right? And I felt like this was the problem that needed to be addressed after last week's meeting. If these employees don't feel secure in their jobs or appreciated in their jobs, then they will be turning out in such numbers frustrated and worried about what's coming for them. So we're talking about, I think the number was around 290 paraprofessionals, and whomever else substitutes. There was one who spoke very well last week as a substitute teacher. And from what I could gather online, that's about 30% of our employees in Lake County District, which is a pretty big number. So I feel like staffing and scheduling is not a unique problem to us. It's a problem for all large companies, and there are solutions. We have to figure out what those solutions are. Like, there are entire businesses dedicated to staffing solutions, companies that can analyze our needs, our efficiency, they can recommend scheduling, placement, and things that work for us after they analyze us. Like, with our often piecemeal placement and higher grades, it seems feasible that we could consolidate our hours amongst hired employees, pleasing both the employer's vacancies and the employee's desire to fulfill more hours. This, of course, will require a lot of work and data and analyzation and implementation, and it probably wouldn't be fast or easy. But I was thinking this is perhaps where we need to look outside of our district, not necessarily for temp agencies or outsourcing for employees. We have amazing employees. There are outside agencies that could help us manage our time and our available hours better. That was my takeaway and idea from last week. I'm sure, this was my anecdote, if there's an algorithm that can analyze when I'm going to impulse buy on Amazon for home goods, there's an algorithm that can help us figure out how to use what we have better to serve everybody. Because I think all of these men and women are here to serve our community and love our community. It's my opinion that hiring an outside staffing agency to solve our internal problem will act as a band-aid to what's potentially a larger issue. And at what point do we then become reliable upon a third party that has its own ups and downs and its own governing rules? Our substitute teachers, paraprofessionals, our substitute paraprofessionals are committed members of this community. They know our schools, our secretaries, our staff, our case managers, our kids really well. This year during the hiring process, I was so very impressed with the dedication amongst administrators to match personalities amongst staff and students. We all care and we all want what's best.
Time, you can wrap it up, please.
Sure, I'm on my last 4 sentences. We all care, we all want what's best. No one's sincerity, I believe, is in question here. I worried that speaking up tonight would be risky because I loved my job and I would never risk it, but I also realized that not speaking up would be risky for my job. So here I am, I thank you for your time.
Thank you. And please don't anybody be worried about losing your job. We want to hear what you have to say, and there will be no repercussions for that.
Thank you.
Anita Flowers, paraprofessional, tax.
The mic.
Do I press the button?
No.
Just talking.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, the importance of special education is that a student can receive instruction based on their needs. Academic, social, emotional. And these students, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have a paraprofessional in school. It's either a classroom paraprofessional, maybe a ratio paraprofessional, like a 2-to-1, or a personal paraprofessional. Whichever, they're going to create bonds with these paraprofessionals. Very, very tight emotional bonds. And they not only create them with the paraprofessionals they're with, they also create them with the paraprofessionals in the school. So it's a recognition of somebody that they can go to, somebody that they know is there for them within the whole school. There's certain people that they know that they can rely on. That's what these paraprofessionals are to the children in our community. And outsourcing would just destroy these bonds. Administration is constantly stressing the importance of continuity, and it is important. It is. You're not going to get that continuity when you outsource. They have no emotional attachment to our students the way we do. You know, these are our neighbors, these are our nieces and nephews, these are some of our children. Some students, they just take months to try to figure out. We have a student in our school, it's March, and we're still trying to figure out a behavior plan for her. So that is the reason why continuity is important. It's also important for the safety of the student. It's important for the safety of the parent. We have a child with a lot of emotional problems. You need that security, that face, those same faces that you see all the time. They become like a family. I know you're looking for outsourcing to fill hard to fill positions, but quite honestly, this has only happened when the hours were reduced in the first place because in order to avoid paying medical. So you created the chaos that you're trying to actually fix now.
That's right. Yep.
These were full-time workers that were already hit economically and forced to become part-time workers. That was the first hit they took. Can I get somebody else's minutes?
No, you can't. So the procedure is members of the public will, pursuant to the law, the Board of Education is required to set aside a portion of every meeting for public comment. Pursuant to the board's bylaws, the public comment for the first section is limited to agenda items only. The second section is for items in general. Last week, the board was very liberal, very generous to give you some extra time. However, the procedures do not call for donation of time. So we have a room full of people. If there's anyone else who wants to speak, the policy also says no person can speak on the same topic prior to everyone else who wants to speak on that topic having the opportunity to
What
go.
if nobody else wants to speak until I'm done?
I can't read mine, so I don't know that. So let me just finish what I'm saying.
But it's possible.
So to the extent that if there are other people who want to speak, you have to let them go first.
Does anybody want to speak right now?
Marie, you're up. Batter up. Now, if and when Marie finishes, if no one else wants to speak, the way I interpret the policy is you can speak again, but for 3 minutes. You don't get to speak for the other 24 minutes, all right? So that's the rules.
Everybody does.
Those are the rules. I can't think of his last name. Appreciate it.
Mike. Mikey.
Good evening, my name is Marie McGovern. I've worked as a paraprofessional in the district for 17 years, and I still love my job. Ms. Stella, you mentioned last week that you went to the Monmouth School PTA meeting. Can I ask you how long you stayed there for?
The entire time.
The entire time. Thank you, Dr. George, and the entire Board of Education members for visiting our classrooms. But 5 to 10 minutes does not show you what we do on a daily basis. Come for a half day, come for a full day, come for lunch, come for recess. You'll see what we really do. There is one board member here tonight that was a paraprofessional, and she knows what we do. If I had to write a book, the book would be entitled The Day in Life of a Paraprofessional. I have been bitten on several occasions, sometimes where my skin has been broken. I have been scratched, I've been kicked. I have scars on my arms still from years ago. I've been headbutted, double-fisted. I've been hair pulled, double-fisted, headbutted from underneath where my teeth rattled. But this is not about me. This is about our children in this district, who we love, take care of, nurture, and we watch them grow to become independent young adults. We spoil them by purchasing every day or every week their favorite resources, which is food. My little boy is demanding on his iPad milkshake, milkshake, milkshake. What did I do the next couple of days? I drove to McDonald's and bought him a milkshake. We have another person in our classroom that her boy was looking for hash browns. She went to Dunkin' Donuts, and when she looked at the hash browns, she knew in her head that he wasn't eating that hash brown. She knew that away. Did he eat the hash brown? No, because it wasn't a typical hash brown. We know our kids inside out. Some teachers come into our classrooms because they know that the paraprofessionals are going to take over the classroom. We deal with behaviors. We do recess, we do lunch. We have good subs, we have not so good subs, and then we have subs that are shell-shocked when they come in because they can't believe what they see. We all know that autism is a social and communication disorders. Most schools do not work on socializing the children enough. Instead, they isolate them. Paraprofessionals that see these kids every day and bond with them are the only ones who really connect with them. Paraprofessionals provide students with skills not only to thrive in the classroom, but in the world as well. Please, on behalf of myself and all these people out here, do not outsource. It's not the way to go. Outsourcing paraprofessionals would not be able to provide special needs students with the extra attention and specialized care that they need to succeed in the classroom. It will be a revolving door. There is a saying, you get for what you pay for. And we go through CPR training, and there's a question at the end. And the answer to that question is care, welfare, safety, and security. And that's what we provide for our children every day. And that's still not my job, despite everything that's happened to me and everybody else here. But thank you.
name's Naomi McKenna, and most of you know my daughter Mary. Mary has many medical needs: visual, hearing, orthopedic balance, and spatial awareness. I'm trying to get my daughter to be independent and consistent, but most important is her safety. Normally, her teachers do not put a sub with my daughter if a para is absent. If she had a hearing aid problem, the nurse would have to handle my daughter. Moving around the hallway, she can get knocked over if the para isn't trained properly to handle Mary. I need a para who can keep her safe every day. I need her to be able to learn efficiently and effectively with somebody who works with her every day. This can't happen with a sub-para, or a para who's not trained properly. Since we are all here to be educators, paras have an impact on their students' lives on a daily basis. You don't want to underestimate a para's role in the school. Please don't do a disservice to my daughter. Help my daughter, don't hurt her. I can see, being a para myself, the difference I have made in the lives of my students. Thank you. Thank you.
Basically, a lot of these decisions are.
I'm sorry, can you please state
Oh,
your
I'm
name
sorry,
and your word?
Marissa Ziegler, I'm a taxpayer and a parent of a special needs child. Basically, a lot of these decisions are made because of money. Paras earn between $15,000 and $17,000 a year. One of your administrators earning six figures can pay for almost 10 paras. Your letterhead is ridiculously top-heavy. We as paras are the ones that are in the trenches. We're not sitting behind a desk. Yet each year, we worry about our positions. We understand that we will be being scooped every May. We are 10-month employees. But to add insult to injury, last year we were made to re-interview for positions that some have held for over 20 years. For the reason simply, because you can. We, however, found it demoralizing. I don't believe any of you would appreciate having to re-interview for any of your jobs if you had your jobs for such an impact. We then had our hours reduced so that we don't work beyond 30 hours, so that you don't have to offer medical benefits. We do not feel any appreciation by any of you for what we do. But you know what? Most of us here are not looking for any rewards of grandeur. We are simply here because we grow attached to our students and are pushing for them to succeed. We are the ones wiping their noses, working on toileting, holding them when they don't feel well, making sure they are safe, making sure they feel good about their own accomplishments. We are the ones cheering them on to keep trying and to not give up. All we are asking for is some sort of job stability. And I have one more question. One of the budget line items showed that the company MOESC will be providing transportation next year. I have a problem with this because Dr. George, you sit on the board of directors as president. Is that not a conflict of interest? Do you draw a salary? Do you draw a salary from him? Well, I think that it is a conflict of interest because you are a presence there, and you are a presence here. And I find it unethical. Either there or here, not both. Especially when you're making these decisions. As a parent, most importantly, of a child with special needs that has been through the middle school districts, parents were the backbone to my son's education. They were instrumental in his success. If not for his great powers that he had, and I had to fight tooth and nail every year for, he would not be where he is today. Thank you.
name is Lori Fish. I'm a taxpayer as well as a paraprofessional in the district. I think our main points is that when you removed our hours, you went into our pockets, you felt no compunction about doing that. Is this thing on? And that, you know, you did that, it's done. But now it has created a chaos that you're trying to balance and fix on our backs. That's not right. There's nothing right about that. Okay? The fact is that, you know, most of us would sign a waiver or take less pay, or, you know, we're not going to be unreasonable, because the fact is we love this job. I don't know what that says about us all, but we love it. We love it. And we're here for it, but we also, like, the way we're regarded in this district is a very big problem. You're giving stipends and bonuses to public servants. Like, when I went to school and I got a bachelor's degree in social work, I knew I wasn't going to get bonuses. I knew that I was on a life path that would take me to help change people's lives. That's why I did it. I don't think anybody in public service should be drawing a bonus or a stipend, and much less to keep down absences when we're dealing with kids who come to school sick. They come to school with 100%. And we love them. But the fact is that we get sick too. We come to work sick. We're scared to call in sick. Hence, we spread more illness. And I, for one, I don't have health insurance. So when you ask me for a doctor's note and I'm out 2 days, and you ask me for a doctor's note, I have to go pay for that.
Yeah.
Or have no health insurance. But the fact is our work is on the table. It's on the table. You have given a raise to everybody who doesn't have student contact. Well, I beg your pardon, the teachers got a raise and they have student contact. But you can raise the administrative pay across the board. But we are the hands and feet of this district. We are the ones teaching, actually doing the teaching. You know, there's been a lot of feathering of the nest here. It's not right. It is about the kids. We are about the kids. Anyone else?
Good evening, my name is Gary Casar, and I'm a retired staff. My hours were cut short, and my hours were cut because whoever did the scheduling for my school made it together. I was put in class I never should have been placed in, and once they realized that I was not needed, I was called down and told, go in. I asked the secretary, who am I going into? Sharon, who I never met before. Sharon told me my block size would be cut. I said, thank you very much. I said, if anything opens up, can you please consider me for the position? I contacted my union rep. I spoke to Michael. I said, you know, they cut my hours. It's $300 a month out of my pocket. It's a financial hardship. Is there any way that, you know, I can make up these hours? I was told they could apply for another position, whether it's at my school or another, this late in the year. That was March, trying into April, so that I can make up what they cut. That was a scheduling error. I took the $300 cut a month because I will not leave the children that I've been working with since September. And I personally, now I have 2 children. My husband works for the city. He gets on the bus at 5:30 and walks in 6:30 at night dead tired. I walk into work sick because I'm afraid at the end of the year I'm going to get that little letter stating that I took so many sick days, but by law, they are legally mine. Mind you, I have a kid that is on the spectrum who sneezes, who picks his nose and wipes it on me. But yet,
I will not give up my $300 you guys so easily took away from me. But you know what? I take the hardship because I know next year, if I go back, my student's gonna turn to me and say, why did you leave me in April? When the kid comes in hungry and goes, did you save me the milk from lunch yesterday? And I walk to the cafeteria and I go into the teacher's room and I take that milk because I know his parents financially have to move because they can't even afford their apartment. And I give that kid the milk because that's his breakfast for the day. Until he gets his free lunch, and God knows if he eats dinner at home. Because I care and I have respect. But I will look at every single one of you and say, what respect have you guys given the parents to this district? A month. I can't. I have a special needs son that works in ShopRite that got stabbed with a dirty, hypodermic needle. And I have to deal with that stress. And I come to school and I go in the bathroom and I cry because I don't know if my son has HIV or hepatitis. But yet, I walk in for my students, I wipe my face, I fix my makeup, and I walk in because my kid is waiting by that door for me. I have respect for him. The family has
Excuse me,
respect
ma'am,
for me.
you just wrapped up with your time.
Yeah, but you know what? This board has no respect for us. I don't care about that letter, because you know what? I put my time in it and they're legally blind. Enough of the scare
Thank you.
tactics.
Well said.
Daria Kasur, KOC-UREK.
Hi, my name is... Hi, my name is Marie Dresser, and I'm a paraprofessional and a taxpayer and a parent in Middletown. And what I have to say is really directed to the board members, who, most of our paras are citizens of Middletown and elected you. Parents who are sitting here, whose children, your lives are about to change. I'm going to reintroduce myself. Hello, my name is Maria Dresser, and I'm a paraprofessional in Middletown. I have worked in the self-contained programs in Bayshore. I have worked in MD, Turning Point, and LLD. I have students who go out for services, in which I go with them, and I have students who work with an AAC device. With the exception of the one board member who has been a paraprofessional, what does that mean to you? Not a statuette, not a description, not a book you've read, not a movie you've seen. What do you picture? I know with Dr. George and Kim and any other administrator here pictures, it's a classroom, it's a teacher, it's a program, it's a student, it's a base, it's a person. That's the person whose lives you're about to change, the people we bond with, who we work with the teacher to create a safe learning environment, who we help the teacher implement an IEP, a BIP. You know what those are? But before you make that decision, look that up. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is that we do? Our students bond with us and we bond with them. Think of those students. What does MD mean to you? I'm not giving you the answer. You will research it. And I'm going to tell you about a bond of a student we have who will be leaving us this year because we've spent 4 years with him. First day school bus pulls up, we're all out there, the teachers are out there. You know, we have to make sure we have everybody. And he's standing at the top of the step of the bus, and I look at my dad. I know it is, and he's hearing. And he's looking for this one carrot. He gets off the bus, and I watch him. I don't have to watch where he's going. I know exactly who he's going to. And this year at graduation, our teacher will practice with him in that hot room, the multi-purpose room, getting him ready for graduation. But you know what? There's only one thing we need to do to get him up there on the dais, to shake Dr. George's hand, and he's going to say congratulations. All we have to do is put Miss Renee right next to Dr. George. We won't have to worry where this student is going. We won't have to worry, will he make his way there? He will walk up to Dr. George, his power will point to Dr. George, and he'll say, good job, thank you, and walk off. And Miss Renee, stand up and take a bow.
I want to thank you all for your comments, but our half an hour is over now. We need to move on to the next agenda item.
Wow.
So we're moving on to our proclamations. It's National Autism Awareness Month. Whereas we celebrate our students affected by autism on April 2nd, World Autism Awareness Day, and throughout the month of April. Whereas autism is a pervasive developmental disorder affecting the social, learning, and behavioral skills of those affected by it. And whereas autism was once thought to be a relatively rare disorder affecting only 1 in 10,000 people. And whereas as more and more health professionals become proficient in diagnosing autism, more children are being diagnosed on the autism spectrum, resulting in rates as low as 1 in 88 children. Whereas while there is no cure for autism, it is well documented that if an individual with autism receives treatment early in their lives, it is often possible for that individual to make significant improvements. And whereas Middletown Township Schools have pioneered a public school autism program and have excelled with devoted administrators, teachers, paraprofessionals, speech pathologists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, and child study teams. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Middletown Board of Education, do hereby proclaim April 2019 as Autism Awareness Month in the Middletown Township Public Schools and urge all employees and students to participate in our Autism Awareness Month activities in order to become better educated on the subject of autism spectrum disorders.
Sit there and tell us about autism. Seriously?
April 3rd is Paraprofessional Appreciation Day.
All right, moving on to our superintendent report.
Can you speak? You could speak at the end when they're finished. That's what they said. I want to ask an important question.
Okay, sorry about that. I need a motion to approve the minutes for the executive session on February 27th, 2019, and the regular voting meeting of February 27th, 2019. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Letter B, Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. April has been designated as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month, and whereas all children deserve to be nurtured, protected, and free from physical or emotional harm, and whereas the maltreatment, abuse, and neglect of children is a significant social problem that damages children physically, mentally, and emotionally, and inflicts immeasurable harm on society as a whole, and whereas the state of New Jersey and the New Jersey Department of Children and Families believe that the best place to raise children is among strong, healthy families, and whereas the state of New Jersey is committed to building a continuum of community-based child abuse prevention and intervention programs that are culturally competent, strength-based, and family-centered, and support and empower survivors of domestic violence to achieve positive outcomes for children and families. And whereas the New Jersey Department of Children and Families embraces the standards for prevention programs developed by the New Jersey Task Force on Child Abuse and Neglect, and whereas all sectors of the community, including law enforcement, medical professionals, schools, courts, and media outlets, as well as numerous public and private agencies have joined forces to promote public awareness and community involvement in strengthening families during the month of April and continuing throughout the year. Now therefore, I, Pam Rogers, serving as board president, and on behalf of the Middletown Board of Education, do hereby proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month in New Jersey and urge our residents to become involved in efforts aiming at strengthening families and communities and preventing our children from being abused and neglected.
Superintendent's report. First of all, I want to say that I wish you a safe. Great job. Just those two things. So thank you.
We can't hear you.
Number 11, the reports.
Wow.
Yes, the report of the president, sorry. So the report of the president, we have a meeting on the 2nd of April. That's a PIC meeting. And on that PIC meeting, we will just be asking the members of PIC to give us some input on the strategic plan. We're asking members of the public to just look at our strategic plan, our current strategic plan, and give us some input and some feedback, because we are about to start focusing on our strategic plan. We put out the RFP for the strategic planning expert, and on the 8th of April, we have a 7:30 p.m. strategic planning meeting. So everybody on the committee, please put that in your calendars. That is, we have on 6:30 on the 8th, we also have the shared services meeting. So I just wanted to make sure everybody remembers about that. Yes, and then April 10th is our next Board of Ed meeting. And that's really it for the report of the president. No, just the strategic planning committee is April 8th. And that's when all the proposals came in, so we'll be looking those over.
When do we find out it's for, whatever is going on? What are you feeling about it? Are you telling me something? Every time
All we're asking is for people to give us feedback, right? But they're gonna look at their strategic plan and just give us feedback to get started. That's it, the existing strategic plan, the old one, right, that's all we're asking for. I know, we're starting baby steps, we want the public involved right from the get-go, from the beginning, before we even make any plans with the new professional that we hire.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Professional one.
Okay.
Superintendent's report.
Move on to B. B, report of the business administrator and board secretary. I need a motion to approve the bill list for the period of February 28th through March 7th, as per attachment BA3. The approval of transfers for February 2019. Motion to accept the report of the secretary for the month of February 2019, as per attachment BA. And a motion to accept the board secretary certification that no major budget line item has been overexpended for the month of March 2019. So I need a motion to approve B 1 through 4.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions. And now, the report of the superintendent.
First, I'd like to make a recommendation, and that'll be my report for items 1 through 3, and then the superintendent's update will be number 4. Have a motion. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
I'm opposed on number 1.
Abstentions.
Okay, in the superintendent's update, first, out of respect and fairness to everybody that's in the audience, I just want to take a moment to say a couple of things. MOESC is an organization, what an ESC does and what Monmouth Ocean Educational Services does for the counties of Monmouth and Ocean is provide additional services. Like the members of this board, I actually serve on 2 boards, Monmouth Ocean Educational Services and Bayshore Jointure. There is a relationship between both of those boards. There is no money, there is no monetary, on any given day, there's no monetary compensation on any given day. My regular workday can be anywhere between 8 and 16 hours. On days in which I have that board meeting, it gets longer by 1.5 and 2 hours. Because all the same things that I have to do in that day, I still have to do. It's not required by the board. It was something that that from the very beginning was an expectation from the board. And the reason for that is because what Monmouth Ocean Educational Services is charged to do as it relates to transportation is be the transportation supplement for all the districts in Monmouth and Ocean counties. So I work with colleagues, superintendents, and that's what we do. We also provide related services to all districts in Monmouth and Ocean County that aren't big enough, that don't have a big enough staff to have those services. So I just want to start by making that clear. The second thing, we continue to hear the words outsourcing. I feel compelled to speak on that on behalf of the board because that's not the intention of the board. That's not the intention of the administrative team. As we said, and the one thing about Middletown, we talk about transparency. We all get up here and we speak on the record, and we speak in front of that camera, and we're accountable for everything we say. So I'm gonna say what we said last week. That's really important for everybody to understand. It is not our intention to supplant your services. This board has been negotiating in good faith for a long time with your union to get to a long-term agreement, right? We were together for 4 hours last night. That is not this board's intention. And I heard over and over again the importance of the children, and I completely concur. And I have been in the schools for longer at times, in classrooms for longer at times than 5 minutes. And I look in your faces, I know your hard work, I know what you do, I know, and you have not just my respect, you have our respect. The issue is that yesterday, there were 9 positions, or today was 9, yesterday was 18. Are those numbers correct? Yes. Yeah, and I ask every day, how many professional positions went unfilled. It is, I know how important that is to all of you. I know you don't want that either. I also know that you know with our most needy students, people are going to be bumped in coverage as it relates to medical or our most needy students to cover from the inside with a skilled paraprofessional like yourselves to make sure that person is covered. But that means someone else goes uncovered. So today, 9 people, 9 students of our most precious commodities, our most at-risk students went uncovered. Yesterday it was 18. Again, it's so important that I say this. Listen, we're not comfortable with your angst. We're not. We've tried diligently to make it clear to each and every one of you, going back to a meeting 4 weeks ago with your bargaining unit, where we made it very clear, not just your bargaining unit, but every other bargaining unit that was affected, that this is not our intention to outsource. This has never been for this board in this time, in this moment, about outsourcing. But I want to share another thing with you.
Dr. George, why can't you just
Excuse
hire
me,
them?
Ms. Clark, I'm sorry, but the public comment period
right now,
elapsed. You can't interfere.
Right now, in this budget, we are cutting between 1.7 and 1.9 million dollars in personnel. It does affect other bargaining units. It does not affect your bargaining unit. We keep talking about reduction in hours. So let's make it clear and let's talk about the facts. Where the board was and where we are. We have lost $1.7 million in the last 2 years. We are scheduled to lose more than $6 million over the next 5 years. Okay, that's a lot of funding. We are looking for long-term sustainability. That's what we're talking about, making sure that we can provide programs and services for students. I'll be honest with you. It's there. I feel your anxiety in this room. I know how important your work is, each and every one of you. If at any time we were forced in dire circumstances to provide services and programs for our students, and I thought the only way we could do it was to outsource, I am here to look all of you in the face with courage and say, I'd recommend it. I would. We are not in that place. That is not where we are. That is not our intention. Our intention is to fill the anywhere from 18 or 9, and it's gotten worse during the course of the year. And quite honestly, out of respect for your bargaining unit and the fact that we were in the process of negotiating with you, we have put this off. We did not want to do this in this time. This is not easy for the board. This was not easy for my administrative team. We did it because we are charged to have the courage to do what's in the best interest of the students. And I know what that looks like. I have seen you in classrooms toileting where I had to point out that you had feces on your forehead. So I know that you know what it's like to truly be courageous and to do the work and to care more about the children than you do yourself. That's why we're at this point. There is no other reason that we are at this point. That is our intention. So I want to make that very clear. Continuing with my passion for special education, I'm going to read to you tomorrow what I'm going to be sharing in testimony for in front of the State Senate Budget Committee as it relates to special education funding and funding for state funding. Under S2 funding formula, the Middletown Township Public School District has lost $1.7 million over the last 2 budget cycles. A significant driver in educational funding loss is a decrease in enrollment in the Middletown School District of 6.2% since the ASA report of October 2011. A detailed review is needed to understand special education costs such as additional staff, smaller class sizes, as well as additional health services. The impact of the financial costs to support these underfunded mandates makes it critical to equitably fund local school districts. It is important to note Middletown, with a total enrollment of 956 students, educates 1,978 special education students, or 20% of the total student population. Categorical aid for special education allocations are based on a percentage of special education students at 15.4%. In Middletown, this equates to 536 special education students not factoring into the equation. Our most at-risk student population receives special education services at a significant additional cost compared to their typical age group peers. Through extraordinary aid, the state of New Jersey currently funds approximately 55% of special education services costs over $45,000 per student. Now our average per pupil fund is $15,000. Additional extraordinary aid doesn't kick in until $45,000 per student. Middletown's extraordinary aid funding is only $1.5 million. In addition, the state of New Jersey provides $7 billion in special education categorical funding that the district receives approximately $2 million in federal IDEA funding. Only a fraction, roughly 19% of special education transportation costs is funded in categorical aid. The Middletown Township Public School District is currently carrying 69% of the total educational costs for special education. The state funding for special education does not accurately reflect enrollment, and therefore the dollars do not follow the student to assist in providing an appropriate education. Special education funding is the only funding where the dollars do not follow the student. The inverse relationship between the decrease in state aid funding, while we have experienced a 27.6% increase in our special education population during that same time frame. We're going back to the ASA report of 2011. That's October 2011. So we have a 6.2% decrease during that time in overall enrollment, which has driven down our state funding during this time, but we have a 27.6% increase in enrollment for special education students. So I ask you to look at the body of work of the Board of Education over that time, okay? Over that time, although we are cutting positions in regular education because, and rightly so for the decreased enrollment, and we're owing that in special education. During that time, for certificated staff, our most expensive staff, we have increased 60 positions. So let's get back to the point about whether or not we cut hours and services. Hours and services are driven based on the IEP. That's how we do it. It's based on the IEP. It's not based on saving dollars. It's important to know that. It's important to understand these facts so you understand why the board is voting the way they are. Thank you for your time, Mr. President.
Time's up. He said he just listened.
Just clarify in the resolution, please talk about the resolution about the regular
And we did this last week, but you're right, I think we should do it again. So the regular position, and here's the example that we've given the board. It's not, and not only do we give this to the board, we gave this to your leadership 4 weeks ago. So it's not about, elementary positions are easier to fill. The time schedule fits in to people's lives better. The number one problem for us is that 7 to 10:30 in high school, right? That's a position where it's really hard to fill. We are going to continue to recruit and hire our own paraprofessionals. It is not our intention to supplant those services. It's our intention for those difficult positions, like the 7 in the morning to 10:30 and a half a day. And another important point to this, to understand when we talk about reduced hours, the majority of our positions are between 22 and a half and 29 hours. There are only around 30, 38, so what's the number below that? So the number of paraprofessionals underneath that is much lower, about 2/3, I would say. Is that correct? Because I don't want to misspeak. About 2/3 are between those hours of 22 and 29 and a half. Okay, so let's talk for a minute about the benefits. Okay, so during this time, when all of these changes were coming online, we were, once again, to be loyal to our employees, talking about long-term sustainability. Having our own, we are the largest employer in the township of Middletown, as it should be. We are a community of 70,000 residents. We have approximately a little less than 20,000 parents, 10,000 students. We have 17 schools, right? We're the largest employer. We take great pride in our role in the community. We are not looking to change that role in the community. We all know that you are friends, you are colleagues, you are taxpayers. We have never forgotten that. But the sustainability of where we're faced with budgets, even back when, in better budget cycles, it was not sustainable to make a move where we were going to be able, inside our fiscally responsible 2% cap, to be able to add benefits when those changes came down from state regulations. So that and I want to also point out, because I think it's important to do it, because this administrative team's been together for 8 years, right? So we did a survey, and a lot of you know that. We took that survey, and the majority of the employees did not want benefits. This is not driven by coming down from so that you don't have benefits. The majority in the survey, when the survey was taken, and we worked with your union leadership to do that, chose not to happen. So I want you to know the fact pattern that the board's working on in their decision-making. That fact pattern I own. I'm stating it publicly. It's on video. It's always going to be there for you to see. But I want you to know sincerely, as a representative, the chief school administrator of this Board of Education, that you do have their respect. You do, we are working in your best interest. And we are working diligently to ratify, a long-term contract. Our body of work will speak for itself. I am confident of that. I am confident. Just as our body of work in the past has spoken. Last year, before June 30th, we talked about a letter. Last year, before June 30th, 98% of our paraprofessionals were rehired. The year before that, it was 95%. Our body of work is our body of work. We care about you, we respect you. You are amongst the highest paid in paraprofessionals, not only in our county, but across the state. That's the truth. And we value you. And we will continue to value your work. When I meet with new employees, and this is the last thing I'll say, because I see that my colleagues are getting restless on me. But when I meet with new employees and I talk about secretaries, I talk about secretaries. You are the face and the voice of this district. You are equally as important as any other member. Custodians, we talk about their work. When I talk about paraprofessionals, to a teacher in the room, as stated here tonight, you are an educator. You are an educator. You are an important resource in their learning process. You are valued. You are respected.
Dr. Judge, can we ask a question?
Excuse me, members of the public, respectfully, the public comment period is over.
But there will be, you didn't let me finish.
If I may, again, pursuant to law, a Board of Education is only required to have one public comment period. This board has two.
So the board is going
So if I may,
not let me finish
if I may,
for
ma'am,
2
this is a Board of Education meeting. The agenda has already coming on with respect to the first public comment period.
Why are you making the rules for our Board of Education?
I'm
You're
actually
only
just-
their lawyer.
Ma'am,
You're not a
I'm
judge.
relaying the rules. I'm going to ask you to please not disrupt the meeting. I'm just reiterating the fact that the 30-minute public comment period on agenda items only has passed. The second public comment period will be later in the meeting.
Yes.
We're going to ask you respectfully and politely to not disrupt the meeting so we can continue the business of the Board of Education. Thank you.
So this board is not going to give me my question?
You'll have more time to speak later.
How much later?
So I need a motion on 11C4
On the agenda.
on the addendum.
So moved. Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, on number 12, I need a motion to approve number 12A1. Just 12A1. Discussion? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? I need a motion to approve 12B1.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? I need a motion to now approve D2 through 4. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? I think now. I need a motion to approve number 12E. I'm sorry, I need a motion to approve. Okay, I need a motion to approve 12C1. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstention? Okay, I need a motion to approve policy D1 and 2. Okay. Okay, so I need a motion to approve D1, D2, sorry, D2. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstention? Okay, for curriculum, I need a motion to approve E1 through 4. 4 on the agenda. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, I need a motion to approve F1 and 2. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
We're next.
Abstentions? I need a motion to approve F3 with the understanding that the purpose of this resolution is not to outsource. This is for positions that we cannot fill in the House, and it is in the best interest of the children to do so.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, now I need a motion to approve
Remember your board.
F4 and 5.
Thanks for nothing.
Discussion?
Remember the names for next election.
All in favor?
Remember the whole board next election.
Abstentions? I need a motion to approve G1.
You're gonna take that money out of the paraprofessionals' pocket and put it in a third party.
Discussion?
That's what you're
Yeah,
gonna
can you
do.
please stop disrupting the meeting? Thank you.
No, we never got to
We
ask
understand that, but could you please?
You're all up for
interrupt the
re-election
meeting?
at some point.
Public comment. Thank you, ma'am. Could
We'll
you
make
please
sure
stay
you don't
quiet?
see it
Thank you so
again.
much. We
Exactly.
appreciate
We'll
your
respect
cooperation.
you the same way.
Thank you for being respectful of the Board of Education and excellent.
You don't respect us,
You don't
regardless of what
respect
you say.
I need a motion to approve G1. Sorry, guys. Discussion. All in favor?
Recommendation?
Abstentions?
Yeah, Matt said go.
Personnel on your agenda. I need a motion to approve I. 1 through
Doesn't matter, they voted it in.
Yeah, they voted it in.
9.
We're done.
Employing more.
I'm sorry, 1 through 17. So I would like a motion to
Somebody to work
approve
for $13 an hour, but not
I
18.
1 through 17. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? We're on the addendum personnel, letter I.
On personnel items 1 through 17, roll call vote, Mrs. Kennedy.
How you doing? Me too.
Mr. Donlin?
Yes.
Mr. Gano?
Yes.
Mr. Little? Mrs. Ruiz?
Wait, sorry,
Would you please hold your voices down? The board is still conducting business. Would you please be respectful of the business being conducted? If you want to talk, please go outside. Thank you so much.
the reason that the video can't be heard if there's talking in the back of the room. We've just been informed by Mr. Alston. So please step outside if you're going to continue to talk. Thank you.
Mrs. Wright?
Yes.
Mrs. Stella?
Yes.
Mrs. Rogers?
Yes. Okay. Moving on to old business. Okay, moving on to new business.
Just on old business, we had talked about last week, putting together some sort of approach and deciding which committee to assign the investigation into, well, not investigation, but the inquiry into how to reach out to local businesses for scholarship monies and other financial support. I think in the past, we've seen a number of businesses support our schools. I know that Mrs. Bigaby's attended a fundraiser the other night with Miss Gregory in Atlantic Highlands. I know that the Larrys are Middletown residents, and they use the school and, are very supportive of us. So I think it would be very beneficial to assign to one of our committees the task of coming up with an outreach plan on behalf of the board and the administration and businesses. So I would open up to the rest of my colleagues to talk about where this program is going.
Yeah, I had discussed briefly with Dr. George about the scholarship committee taking over that responsibility. And he said he thought around September would be a good time of year to bring that up. People are excited about the start of the school year, and maybe businesses would be excited to give some money to the scholarship fund.
My only comment to that would be that maybe instead of September, we talk about it in August. We don't want to do anything sometime, but I think that it will be useful to get on top of that, and especially now that it's circling back, to reach out to some of the larger employers in the township, including the most important, which is Henry. So if we could get sworn on board, especially in their mission, and I know that it impacts a number of our township residents.
And just to clarify, that's exactly what I said, but to clarify my intention, I just want to say that I think that we can certainly get together between now and the end of the year, Mrs. Walker, myself, with the scholarship committee, and talk about what we're going to do. My point was to kick off the campaign in September, but to your point that you hit on, well, we got to be ready to go. So we got to be ready to roll. So it's not that we're willing to roll up our sleeves sooner. It's just that my thought for the kickoff of the campaign was September, because we could also maybe build that with our PFAs. We could sell a kit. We could, just get there right from the beginning of the school year and get momentum.
Is this just for scholarships?
It's for the scholarships for graduation. That's what
That's all it is. Because I'm not saying, a lot of these businesses, PCAs that we have, 17 schools, they all do different methodologies and stuff, so you need to be careful with that stuff on the organizations that are, not to say hit them up, but a lot of these organizations contribute to all the schools, the senior schools, they spend a lot of money.
I think we're missing a boat by waiting till August, because this is the time of the year where donations slow down because it's coming to the end of the year. Come June, everybody hits everybody. I've done it before. I think we're waiting a little bit too long. If we really want to get them to do it, we got to get them to do it now in their fiscal year. Otherwise, we're going to miss the boat with all the other competitions.
I also think when we reach out to Sloan, when whoever's reaching out to Sloan, we should reach out to Sloan for work study programs with our kids, because it's a big IT facility they have in there. They put all their IT out here. So the way they're doing IT during the summer with our kids, maybe they can do something there. The internship. That's a good idea. No, that's great. And you're on the scholarship committee, so we'll get together and chat again.
I think that was our job, to go. It is, but I don't think we're allowed to get internships.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
They know, because, the children might not be with Asians and stuff. No, we can't do it.
Action is guidance, that's all. So this is walking out, talks about both of those. We'll be ready for old business on the agenda.
I was going to say, if we could just put this back on old business for the next meeting.
Yeah, for the next. Thank you.
New Jersey School Board, the other people ratings, yes, right here. We talked about speaking out with the numbers, and ranking, and we said it would be a conversation.
As discussed last week, we do that presentation who are expected that are working on in April, but that's April. This week, the principals have been coming to meet with the curriculum department and student activities and services to talk about their needs in schools and start formalizing, generating ideas to work with their staff on creating action plans to address the areas that we are not satisfied with.
Thank you.
Okay, does anyone else have any new business?
Yes, I hope everybody goes out and High School North is having their play this weekend.
Friday night at 7 and Saturday at 2. So if you're looking for some good nights out, entertainment, it's really good. I saw a little bit of the previews. I don't think anybody's going to want to miss it. Take your kids, your families, and support the arts at High School North.
Under new business now?
Thanks. New business.
Yeah, I just wanted, we're doing the Adopt a School. I went to that Lincroft for their last meeting last week. A lot of things going on in Lincroft, you know, the Daddy Go to Dance, all this Lynn Carnival's coming up, there's a variety show coming up. A couple interesting, you know, very interesting things. You know, couple of things I thought were really cool. There are 3 students who created bracelets that they're going to sell in the school store, and they're going to donate to Make-A-Wish Foundation. Yeah, it's fantastic. You know, I think their goal is to raise $1,000. Another thing at Lincroft I think is very interesting is that they started their what they call a forefront. It's their student paper, like student journal, student paper that's on their website. I would encourage people to go to their website and take a look at that. It's a lot of work, so yeah, it would be great if a lot of schools could start doing that again. I know schools have done it on and off. It takes a lot of dedication from the kids from parents to follow, but it's called the forefront. Excellent. Fairview, I'm also cover Fairview. They had their gift auction recently, and they were not as their first gift auction was pretty good success. They wanted to thank Community with our donation. You know, part of the Fairview family. They appreciate that, and you know, Fairview's moving along. You know, my kids are there, so I think it's like regular business. But check out the ball print on Lincroft as well. It's on the website. It's really cool.
Thanks.
Just along the Adopt a School line, I know the scheduling was bad for tonight, but tomorrow, Thompson Middle School play is happening after school. There's one performance. We have the director of the play, also has to be the daughter of one of our board members. I would encourage anybody after school who is able to attend. Unfortunately, I'm not, but I think it's useful to make sure the public is aware that this is going on at Thompson Middle School.
I saw that online. Isn't there a better way that we could advertise some of this stuff? Like, if I didn't see it on Twitter, I wouldn't even know it's taking place. And there's a lot of the arts things that we're missing because we don't know it's taking place. And, you know, a lot of us like to go. We can't go to everything, but try to go to them. But sometimes it's just, we see it when it's too late. You know, I mean, maybe you could talk to Mr. Graziano and somehow get us a list of things that are going on in the arts, because we can't promote it if we don't know it's taking place.
Yeah, I agree, Jim. Because for my 2 schools, Thompson and South, I have PFA newsletters that come in my email box, and I can read them. But it's hard to sort of put everything together. So I agree that would be useful. So maybe a district-wide arts calendar would be helpful.
I'm texting him right now. He does have a district-wide calendar. I'm not to share it.
Share it with me.
Because he has to arrange to make sure there's, you know, not conflict.
Overlaps. Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Adopt a School or new business? Okay, I'd like to open up the microphone to public comment. Remember that we do have a limit to 30 minutes, and you do have a limit for 3 minutes each, but we would like to hear from you, as many of you as possible. Come on up.
If there are others, if you were to come up to the mic, it would just maximize the opportunity for people to speak, and that really is our intention. So, thank you.
On the line.
Hi.
It's agreed.
He's so late. I was like, oh my God.
Hi, my name is Christine Martin. I've been a paraprofessional at New Monmouth for 15 years, 13 of which have been full-time. And this is directly to you, Dr. George, because you are the leader of this school district. This year, after 13 years of full-time employment, always having a proactive attitude towards personal development, attending all the in-services, getting thoroughly trained in every aspect of our job so we can do a better job, provide better service. I got my hours cut by 40%. With that said, you have a staffing problem. We were told, when our hours were cut, that if we came in to help fill some of that need, that we would be paid sub rate. That was the mistake, because I and all of my colleagues that had those one-day cut, we probably would have been going on ASOC, we probably would have been bidding on those little spots that you needed to fill. I had signed up with my principal that I would be willing to go on the sub list. Out of principle and respect for myself, my service, my training, my professionalism, dedication to this school district, I did sub one day. I'm thankful that I didn't need to sub a day, but I will not work for $7 an hour less than what I should be getting. I would. I absolutely would. I am only working 3 days a week now. You got a person sitting home, also going on walks with Monmouth County Park System now. I signed up for a nice spring hike thing this spring, so I'm not just sitting around, I'm finding things to do. But you got a lot of people here, trained people, that can fill your 18 spots, fill your 9 spots on Thursday, fill all your spots, pay us what we deserve, pay us our rate. Why should we work for $50? Solve it by paying us what we deserve. Thank you.
While we're waiting for the next speaker to approach, I just want to manage expectations. There are some comments or questions that are made that the board, the administration, and the board will not respond to upon the advice of council. If they apply to individual personnel situations, you're more than welcome to reach out to the administration, schedule a meeting personally, discuss your individual needs, but also issues that affect the collective bargaining process, issues of negotiations. The Public Employment Relations Commission recognizes the privacy of those matters, and the board will not reduce itself to negotiating issues in public that are appropriately and legally required to be negotiated in a confidential setting. And I see Mr. Gordy in the back. I'm sure he would agree with me. So thank you.
I'm sorry, could you please state your name? Oh, I'm Jenna Deltorre, I'm a parent. My daughter is
Tilt the mic or you can grab it, you got it.
I'm a parent. No?
Press the
Off
button.
on. Yeah, it goes off automatically.
Okay, better?
Yeah, could you, Ms. Calvin, let's just use your mic.
It's fine. My name is Jenna Delsordi, I'm a parent. I just had a question. The way it's written and your intention seem to be two different things. So if you voted on something that is written but your intention is different from the way it's written, what's going to happen now? That you voted on it, you passed it, are you just using it for the subs? That's the question. Nobody knows the answer because you're saying your intention and the way it was written. What's the answer? Nobody understands what's
It says
happening.
regular position.
You're not telling anybody what's really going to happen. You're saying how it's written and your intention of outsourcing are two different things. So can you please explain what's going to happen now that you voted on it?
Just ma'am, so generally make your comments, ask your questions.
She did.
There was a question.
There was a question.
It is a question.
It is a question. Let them answer your question.
Public comment period, the board will be here all night if we respond to each individual question. Use your 3 minutes, ask your questions, make your statements.
They're not answering.
My name is Mindy Doherty. I actually had a very similar question as the woman before me. You used the word intention. Why not use the words will not? And then if you decide another time you need to, that's up for the next time you take a vote. Using the word intention does not mean you will not. It means that you didn't intend to. That it's not saying no, meaning you will not. So I request that you re-vote with the proper wording of will not. Thank you.
So Dr. George, you were saying that there are some positions that cannot be filled. That's what this is all about. Anita Clark, paraprofessional, taxpayer. Yeah, that's my favorite one. So you're saying that the positions that cannot be filled, but there are a lot of paras that work anywhere from 2 hours to 12 hours per week. So I don't understand how, if you get the paraprofessional to come from a place like MOAS, they're willing to work here doing the same job for $12 when they could just be coming to Middletown and being hired the way we are and getting $18. Like, who would do that? So you're having a problem filling those positions paying $18, but you're not going to have a problem filling them for $12? It's just really hard to understand. So why would you go through a third party? Because most of the people that work as paraprofessionals are community members, the people who voted you all in. So why would you take it out of their pocket? Why would I want to go to MOAS and have them pay me $13 an hour to come here to do the job I was getting $18 an hour for? It just doesn't make sense, does it? You still need employees. Just hire more. That's an idea.
Hi. Vera Paseki, parent, taxpayer. I wasn't going to speak, but as a parent of a child that needs a one-to-one para, she will be transitioning to a new school next year. I am not worried about the teachers, 7 teachers she will be seeing, rotating through. I am worried about who's going to be her para. It is critical. And I hear these ladies, but I need you guys to understand, these paras for parents, they are our lifesavers. She goes to school every day, she's communication impaired. I don't worry, because I know who's with her. I'm already losing sleep about next year, because I have no say in the decision making, and I have to trust that the decision will be right. Okay? I've asked if she can meet the para before it starts. No. No. That is the person that's going to be with her all the hours of the day. So as I sit here and listen, I think you guys need to understand again how critical they are. I'm not involved in the negotiations, but I have to say, as a taxpayer and a parent, sitting here listening to somebody with 15 years experience who's paid a certain rate, but if they sub, they have to take a cut in the rate, something's not right there. And people here, maybe everybody isn't speaking eloquently or whatever, but their passion is clear. I just hope we do what's right, because when it comes to saving money, we don't want to save money on their backs.
Amen.
We don't. And I would suggest that maybe we look at other aspects. And I will talk in generalities, but I think you need to look at your legal expenses and the willingness to spend $50,000 to $100,000 to keep one child out of a gen ed classroom is ridiculous. So I would suggest that we do our best and keep these ladies and gentlemen, sorry.
Albert Ricardo, I'm a taxpayer here too, and I'm a stay-at-home dad. And our 2 sons are autistic. Before our 1 son, Max, came to this school district, he would stay in his room every day. He would just eat oatmeal cereal every day and wouldn't do anything else. He wouldn't socialize or try to even do be with us or his brother or anything. Me and my wife moved here because where we both live, we down in the middle of Middletown, and moved here because we looked around and saw that this school district was the best school district for them. Because we looked into the paras and seen that there's enough paras to take care of their needs to do what they need to do. Because it's not easy for me. I'm a master heating and air contractor. I'm licensed. I've worked for a company 6 years and I lost my job. And I can see all these people, they lose their jobs because of money. It's not about money. If you guys had a child like mine or any of these other parents, then you would understand. Until you guys are in their shoes, you shouldn't be putting money on them. How can you put money on your own kid, leaving them in the hands of somebody you don't know? Can you do that? Our son now eats everything he wants. Everybody knows my children because they're all so loving to him, and he looks forward to them every day. Max, you want to go to school? He can't talk, he's nonverbal, 8 years old. We can't just leave our child with someone at all. That's why I have to stay home. You can't trust anybody. But I know that when they go to school with them, we can trust them.
Amen.
That they're coming home happy. They're not like they used to be. So until you guys have been in my shoes or one of their shoes, then you guys should try to put a number on it. You don't build a house and leave out 10 2x worth until you're cheap. They built a foundation for our son to grow, and he's grown because of them, because they love him. Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Mary Pat Harrington. I am a teacher in the district. I'm a teacher of the deaf and the sign language teacher. I am also a parent. I am a student in the district and two that graduated, and I am also a taxpayer. I am speaking on behalf of the incredible people that I work with each and every day. I travel to 8 schools a week, sometimes I go 2 times to some schools. I teach groups. I work individually with students who have one-to-one paras or shared paras. I meet dozens and dozens of paraprofessionals every week. I am privileged to be with them. I learn from the teachers who teach the class. I learn from the paraprofessionals who teach the students. I walk in, and if I see a substitute paraprofessional sitting with a child who's nonverbal, who has autism, and is using an iPad to communicate, my first instinct is, ooh, she may not know him, but I know him because the paras in that room have taught me over and over again about that child. The teachers have taught me about that child. But I know that I can depend on the paraprofessionals to guide me in working with my hundreds of students that I see every week. These people are incredible at what they do. They love their children. They stand up for them. I may give a certain prompt, and I just get a little prompt with a head nod, or a point, or a, Mary Pat, you try this. And I am able to communicate with my students. I have been educated by these men and women, by these paraprofessionals. I value their work, I value their opinion, and I value their educating me. I beg of you to keep the wonderful people that we have and to use the services that are already working. Use the people who are working 3 hours a week and could be working another day or other hours with the students who they know. Please take that into consideration. We have value here. We have people who care. We have good educators. Please use them. Thank you.
Does the board know what this is? If you don't know your special ed students.
My name is Mary Doherty. I've been a substitute teacher and I've been a para in this district over 17 and a half, 18 years. We had a title years ago, maybe some of you do not know it, Soccer Moms. Not many of you could do what a soccer mom could do. And these ladies, I give them 250% credit when I have been a substitute teacher. I have watched some of these children grow from little babies, from infants, to Mrs. Ziegler's son out in the workforce. And they are dynamite children. Nobody knows my name, and I don't need to have anyone know my name. But I do a damn good job as much as all these ladies do. I have a degree. I was without a job for 2 years as a parent. And I understand that sometimes, you know. But you look for people with degrees. I have a degree. I don't boast it. I don't throw it in anyone's face. These children we work with, we work from the heart. I've never made money in Middletown. I'm never going to make money in Middletown as a substitute teacher and a parent. My choice. My children are well-grounded. 13, 14 years I stayed home with them. Harmony, Florida, and North. They had a wonderful education. My daughter went to college. She took 2 years to work. She's in nursing school now. She's a North graduate. Right on. So again, whatever you choose to do or whatever you choose not to do, we deserve better. We deserve respect. We deserve admiration for what we do. We don't look for it, but we deserve it. And I've been out a few times with Sheriff Thompson due to my mother's health at 83 years old and other concerns in my life. I have yet to have a substitute for myself. Nobody wants to work at $13.50 times 3 or 4 hours a day. Come on. I make $42 a day, $39.50 a day, or maybe $76 when you take all your taxes and funds out. There's got to be a better solution. Give them a flat fee as a sub-para. I don't know what to say, but again, the ladies and gentlemen are wonderful, and our kids we work with are the best. Thank you.
Lori Fish. You know, part of our reputation in Middletown, I mean, we have a great reputation for having a great special ed program. I mean, if you've seen an increase in enrollment, that's us. That's us. And a decrease in your regular ed. And frankly, like, you know, I don't know what's happening in regular ed. I can't speak to that. But I can tell you that your increase in special ed is right here in this room. You know, and I know that when I moved to this district, my son, my oldest son, he went to High School South. He ended up in the National Honor Society. He had special needs, but you know, Dr. Cartier was a teacher then, head of the Honor Society, and you know, and through the great special ed program, my son prospered in this. All my sons prospered in this district. But don't say you respect us and then vote the way you just did. That's not. It's not honest. It's dishonest. And please don't say, sir, that you notified us 4 weeks ahead of time. We found out last Tuesday that this was going to be an issue for us. We were very disappointed. Discouraged.
Hi, I'm Kelly D'Angelo. I just have a quick question pertaining to the sub-paras, because those of us who had our hours cut and we were put on, as somebody said, the sub-list, but all those sub-lists were deleted. We're no longer allowed to do that. So my question to you is, and as a matter of fact, I'm trying to think of, that might have been maybe 3 weeks ago or a month ago, why? what I was out, I had one of the girls that works 3 days, I said, can you something she said eat? They deleted my account. So I don't understand that either. So that's a question that I hope somebody can answer. Because part of, as I'm understanding this, your intent is to use this outsourcing for subs. When, again, I am reiterating that some of these went in here and then were very willing to, some not at the sub rate, some would. And I'd like an answer to as why those accounts were then deleted. Thank you.
We're a team. I'm Daryl Ramos. I'm a New Monmouth elementary teacher. I started on the autism program in 1994 under Marilyn Cohen. This is my colleague, Jill Harris. Jill was a paraprofessional of mine when my second year here in Middletown. We have one question that we know we won't be answering, but we hope that you will think about it because we don't understand. One of the last statements, it says paraprofessionals and secretaries and regular paraprofessional assignments. Regular. These are regular to us on a daily basis. There are regular people. So what we're concerned is that regular is going to be outsourced at some point in time. Might not be next year, might not be the following year, but I still have many years here. And I don't need my regulars to go if they're not ready to go. Because they stand behind us on a daily basis and they do a job that not many people want to do. But they do it with passion, love, and consistency. We also would like to caution you that even filling a substitute with an outsource, you're just giving us a body. Where's the training that person's going to have to come into my classroom to understand ABA, a child who does not speak, an AAC device, a child who uses sign language, a child who's tantruming on the floor, banging his head, and has a behavior plan that needs to be implemented. Who's going to implement that behavior plan?
That's right.
A substitute is not going to. So we're concerned that regular and sub is going to somehow become one at some point in time. And we just caution you that that's not what this program was built on. This program was built on a teacher and paraprofessionals to make a class run. They've heard, and a team, we are a team, and we're a unit on a daily basis. Many of them have heard that you sit around doing nothing all day. They don't sit around doing nothing all day. They take data on a daily basis. They take not only data in a 1-to-1 setting or a 2-to-1 setting, they take toileting data, they take behavioral data. They can speak to their children on a daily basis. So we're just concerned, once
Your
again.
time is up, please wrap it up, please, thank you.
Yes, please just think about the body that you're going to be placing in our classrooms and put yourself in the position would you want that body working with your child. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that'd like to speak? Okay. Can we have some of those answered questions now?
Sure. Madam President, if I just may, as a general proposition, as I said at the outset of the public comment period, some of the questions and comments that were made cannot be answered by the board, cannot be answered by the administration. due to certain confidentiality issues, personnel-related issues, and/or negotiability issues that are more appropriate for negotiations between the majority representative, Teamsters for Paris, and the administration board that's set. Just starting from the last point that was made, and I'll move the way through. Questions about skills, qualifications, etc. of an outside vendor. Those issues will be addressed in the RFP. There's a scope of services, a specification of services that will likely, just like any other RFP the board puts out, have a level of expectations, training, experience, certifications, etc. that the vendor will have to provide and or certify that if and when they are awarded a contract, the staff that they provide for that contract have the requisite skill, training, experience, license, whatever required for the position. The agenda item F3 that was approved by the board this evening is a step in the process. The board did not award a contract to any vendor tonight. The board did not award a contract to a substitute secretary, paraprofessional, or teacher tonight. The board did not hire a long-term or a position tonight. All the board did tonight was start the statutory process, which is a prerequisite, which is passing a resolution to authorize the administration to advertise an RFP, request for proposals. That's all it did. The administration will put together an RFP, will put together special services, will advertise that in accordance with the law, and vendors, companies will respond if they're interested. For all we know, nobody could respond or may respond. The board is utilizing a process that allows us to bundle these three services for substitute teachers, substitute secretaries, substitute paraprofessionals, as well as the hard-to-fill full-time positions if and when necessary. It's not the intention of the board to privatize or outsource or in any way get rid of the existing employee population. However, the process that's utilized allows the board to combine those three for purposes of competitive contracting, so that quite frankly, price is not the only limiting factor. If the board did it singly through a bid, which it would be required to, if it did a bid separately for paraprofessionals, it will be required to utilize the lowest responsible bidder, which would thereby require to take the lowest price. This gives the board some options to have price being one factor among others to get the best qualified entity, by the best qualified people to perform the service. When, as you indicated, or heard the superintendent indicate, on a daily basis, there is nearly a dozen, if not more, students who are not being provided with the paraprofessional to provide coverage. So that's the issue. Tonight was the first step. There will be subsequent meetings and issues if and when vendors respond, they are qualified, and if and when there's a recommendation for this board. So again, tonight is just the first step. Thank you.
Okay, before I have a motion to adjourn, I just want to remind the public that we do appreciate your service and we have heard everything you've said tonight, and I thank you, each and every one of you, for having the guts to get up and speak. We do listen to it, and when we vote on these things, remember that we are moms and dads and grandmas and grandparents of the kids in this school system, and we do vote on these things with our children in mind. I vote on these things as if I was voting for them for my children. And I just want you to take that into consideration when you think about what we're doing up here. That's all. I need a motion to adjourn this meeting. Discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Abstention.
We need to get Fox 5 or Fox. Channel 7. Jersey Unit.